welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Spencer Wilding, who's played a lot of wild things. And it's very cool to have you here.
Yeah, I'm a wilding.
Exactly.
I love playing the monsters. Yeah.
And so we're
how you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks for bringing us on, man. Yeah.
Thank you for doing it. I was really excited that you were into it.
Yeah, man. Well into it.
Yeah. And when I announced it, I want to say everyone on my Facebook and social media said, oh, he's a really nice guy. All the people that met you at different conventions.
Yeah, I paid them well.
Well, it worked. Yeah. You don't have to ask for a refund.
No. They're great guys. You know, I do these Comic Cons all over the world, man. And I just love meeting the horror fans. Do you know what I mean? They're all over the place. They're great. You know, some of the cosplays is unbelievable. You know, some of the characters I've played. Some of the characters. I remember doing Monster Mania in Philadelphia, and I turned around and there was a little girl. She's called Little One, and she dressed as the Wolfman from the Wolfman, and it was like, oh my god, you know, that's like I'm looking at myself here from the set. You know, and she'd been working on it all year. And she goes, I'm going to keep it on for 3 days. I'm like, what's that, real glue you're using? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So were you a horror fan before getting into the movies?
You know what, man? I'm not going to. I'm going to lie to you. You know, the first horror film I ever watched was Evil Dead 1, right? And then I watched Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and they just both did me in, man. I was a young kid. So I loved playing in the horrors, but I didn't really get into horrors till a few years back, you know? And then I started to enjoy them, connecting to the feelings that we have, you know? Yeah. So I wasn't hiding behind any cushions anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That must have been fun, though, to then you can discover all these movies that were new to you.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, I'm always going onto the horror channels now, checking things out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we were talking a little bit before I started recording about The Devil Conspiracy, which came out Friday the 13th. And I go see basically all the new horror movies and just a lot of the new movies in general. I like to watch movies. And so I went in not really knowing anything about it. And I thought it was great. It had so much stuff going on. It was kind of a 70s exploitation movie with the cults. And then I was really happy to see like big monsters in it like yourself. I was like, oh, this has a lot of stuff in it that I like as a movie fan.
Yeah, man. You know what? You know, obviously it's a process to go to a character, and when they started to show me the pictures of the beast of the ground, and then you know went for me fittings and stuff from Neil Gorton's place, great team. You know what I mean? They're like one of the best out there, and I've worked with them for many years. And then I started seeing it to grow, and I thought we're going to be using a makeup here. There's going to be an animatronic head, and I do prefer a makeup, but these animatronic heads, if they're not too heavy, you can really work with them, you know. And when I started to swing the chain about, you know, chopping heads off and stuff like that, he was moving lovely, and I thought, no, we can do some stuff with this character. He's going to come across really well. And then I was worried I wasn't going to get to see the film for another few months after America because it didn't come out to the UK till later on down the line. And but Nathan sent me a screener, and I went, "Oh yes, I'm going to get to see it." You know, when I seen it, I really enjoyed it. You know, I really enjoyed what Nathan did with the show and everybody's input, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's very ambitious movie. There's also so much going on, and the sets, the sets are real places. So what were some of those sets like?
Amazing. You know, I've filmed in Prague a few times, and it has got that darkness about it. You know what I mean? So when you go to these, when they took us to the locations, and when he's in the cave there, you know, and you know, and when I'm running around with his like 50 odd priests are killing that scene, you know.
Yeah.
And 95% of them were extras. You know, they did a brilliant job, but some of them like to get close to the camera. You know, and I said to them, I said, listen, I know it's a prop, but this is a real chain, and this has got a real blade on it. You know what I mean? And you know, if you come too close to it, when the beast of the ground is getting into it, your head's going to come off if it connects. And I remember because you could hardly see through the helmet. You know what I mean? So I was tuning into the character and using the dark side and the forces. And I just seen it just for a little crack in the helmet. Or one of the guys was running towards us. I was like, "Whoa!" And I was literally that close to him. I know if his head come off, they would have kept that in the film for sure. Yeah. But I really, like I say, I really love playing these characters, and it was a fun character to play. And I really felt the presence come through of the character, and hope that the fans seen that as well, watching the film.
No, yeah, you're very memorable in it. It was one of the standout things for me in the movie because I always like the big monster guys in the movies, and he just looked awesome. And
Brilliant, man.
When you first see I guess you see in the pictures, and then when you first see yourself, or maybe you couldn't see yourself if there wasn't too many eye holes there. What goes into how you're going to move as the character?
Well, I'm doing my own movements with each character, but I'm really connected to my spirituality, and I come into it. And when I open up the doorway to the soul of that character, he comes in, and everything just comes in at the same time. He's like literally the beast of the ground. He's a dark soul. When you're working for the devil and you're being summoned that way, it can get a bit dark. It always helps with the character, but sometimes you get out my head now. You've had your fun, go back now. But or whatever you want to call him, he just flowed, man. He just flowed, and he just wants to take his orders and kill. That's what I do, and I'm going to just do it in the most gruesome way as possible because that's what he does. He's the beast of the ground, and you're going to see him and feel him.
Now, he said about dark because the movie has a lot of dark themes and elements. They're kidnap these women, but at the same time, with the monsters, there's a level of fun to it, and I think it really does a good job of not becoming too silly and also not too grim, where it's just like a feel bad movie.
Yeah, he's in the middle, and so that's. A lot of audience can watch that. I'm 14, 15. I'll be all over that film. I didn't enjoy it. So it is great. It's going to hit all the audience there, and they'll tune in. I can't wait for it to come to the UK. So all lot can see it. I've had a lot of friends and family in America, and they've really, really enjoyed it. And they said it was, it had its jumpy bits, it had its funny bits, it had a little bit scary bits. And it was a great storyline. You know what I mean? It was. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. You know what I mean?
Me too. Real quick, something I should have brought up with Nathan too. When you said all the extras there, you don't always see that in a lot of movies anymore. Where there's a lot, it's either CG people or something. But it seemed like the cult. There's a lot of people there when you're killing everybody and stuff.
Oh, they were all very real. There's no CGI there. There was a lot of screams going on. When they were saying cut, they're still screaming, I'm still coming. I don't hear it sometimes. So they put an earpiece in me. But when you're in these costumes, you sweat a lot. You generate a lot of heat. So this is you can't hear. Sometimes you don't hear them say cut.
Right.
So when they say cut, I'm like, oh, they want to cut more.
Right.
Yeah.
Has that improved over the years, being able to see and hear? Because I've interviewed people from all different decades of playing monsters, and it seems like that's always been a problem. Sometimes you can't hear or see very well.
Yeah, well, that's part of the parcel. But I've been in the industry for 20 years. But the first character I ever played, you couldn't see, breathe, and we were on stilts playing the werewolf from the Prison of Azkaban in Harry Potter. So I started off in the deep end with them sort of costumes. But the makeup artists, the creature people, the animatronic guys, they make it as best as they can for the performer inside there, so we can do our job as well. If we can't move, it's a puppet. You know what I mean? So we've got to connect to that. And I've never had a bad word to say about any of my costumes. If there's difficulties going on, you work with it. And the character will work with you, and you just do your job.
I think sometimes people overlook the the physical acting of people in the suits, because I've seen movies where you could tell the person's not doing a good job, and it really takes away. I mean, it's a really important role.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, man, it's you've got to do the job, and when you cast it, I've been in a lot of films, done a lot of characters, so the industry know what I'm about, and they'll bring it. If I don't bring it, I'm not the man for the job. Bring somebody else on, and a good luck to that person. But I love playing the monsters. Every actor likes to get his face seen as well, but I just really like connecting to the monsters as well. It's a different sort of presence, so it's good.
Well, along those lines, do you think of them as a monster? Do you ever try to find the humanity in the character, or does it? I guess it depends on what it is.
Playing the Wolfman, right. So he's a Wolfman, isn't he? Frankenstein and stuff like that. He's he's been brought back together with a bit of this and a bit of that and a lot of electricity. You connect into that. And then you've like there's characters on like Doctor Who when you're playing a Skeldak in the submarine, and you're in this big suit, but inside the suit is the alien. So you gotta do that going on as well. Playing the suit, playing the alien inside of it. But I played so many different characters from this earth and not from this earth. I don't know what happens, but I open up and they come in and play, and I enjoy it. And I've got a lot of friends going on in my head, so it never gets boring up there,
Yeah. When you take on an iconic character like Frankenstein or the Wolfman and Darth Vader, but the three are different because the Wolfman and Frankenstein's a new version of them, where Darth Vader, you're playing one that was, already done in a way.
Yeah.
Do you go back and look at the original movies to have some sort of like connection or?
Well, I was 5 years old in 1977. I've said this a few times on the Comic Cons and Q&As. My dad took me to see in Prestatyn theatres, cinemas, Picture House. I was 5 years old, and when we got to the counter, my dad, I was only little. I'm not 6'8" then. I was only little, I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
He was paying and he pushed me to the right, and I'm just thinking that, wow, sat down there on my popcorn and my ice cream, and I'm waiting for these battleships to come out and everything like that. And there was just a guy in a bed with a woman. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And what he didn't want to see Star Wars, so he snuck me in to see Pink Panther. So they came out at the same time. Sure. But and then my mum went to take me the next day. But he's such an iconic character to play Darth Vader. And like I say, Darth Vader, there's one presence and spirit of Darth Vader. He uses his actors, So and he brings them in and whatever. So there's one movement that will not change. There's one Darth Vader, so that will not change. But there'll be many actors to play him over the next 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we just the presence comes into you anyway. We have a movement coordinator who's a brilliant performer as well. Creature performer and actor is Paul Casey. And so he just adjusted our gait a little bit here and there because two of us play him, myself and Daniel LaProusse. So I'm sure Daniel had training with Paul as well, but we were filming on different times, different days. But like them iconic characters, there's no change in there. That's Darth Vader. He won't all of a sudden move in a different way. He's Darth Vader. That's it. Yeah. And I play around with my characters a lot as well on set, but Darth Vader wouldn't let me play. He demanded authority, and and that was it. You can't play with it. If you try to play, he wouldn't let you. When you're in the character, that's it. You do as you're told. You take your orders off the Emperor, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The Wolfman. I didn't really watch the original Wolfmans and things like that. I just when the character came to me, a movement came to me, and he's ferocious. I was doing 21-hour back-to-backs on that film. I was getting my sleep in the makeup chair, but when he turned on and the camera started rolling, the energy he's a predator, and he was just something else, running along the rooftops, ripping guts out, eating livers, and it was a bloody film, but I really, really, really enjoyed playing the Wolfman.
I love Wolfman, yeah.
Yeah, man.
And when you saw yourself as the Wolfman, like the first time, like what goes through your mind? I mean, it's got to be a pretty wild experience.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable, So, I remember the first test makeup with Mr. Rick Baker, right?
Another a legend, and
your mate, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I remember, let me just go back a bit, but the first time, Steve, because I was Benicio Del Toro's stunt double, and so I was helping them out, they asked me to come in, CC Smith asked me to come in and said, can you show Benny some movements, blah, 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 blah. You might be doing some wide stuff. But because the character came to and I was playing the Wolfman, they let me get on with it. Benny went in the makeup a few times, but I was doing a lot of the work, and So Steve Dent said, Rick Baker's coming in. And honestly, Rick Baker, I wasn't sure who he was, you know what I mean? I didn't really follow the films, blah, blah, blah. It was a long time ago. And so Rick Baker came in and he was like that, and his ponytail. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was looking at him and he's looking at me, and I was walking around these stilts doing all these movements and stuff. He was just staring at me, and I'm thinking, who's that? And he just looked at me. And back then I was 5 stone lighter, and he looked at me and he goes, Frankenstein. You know,
Oh,
you
wow.
seen Carlos Boros in my face, you know,
Yeah.
and what?
The other way around, Boris.
Boris Karloff. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Things come out the wrong way sometimes. The missus is laughing at me. But we're in a hotel up here. So yeah. So and I was just like, oh right, okay, Frankenstein, great. And he always said I would have loved to put you in a Frankenstein makeup. You know, so maybe that might happen one day. But it was just great to work with Rick and Dave Elsey and the other guys. It was an honor, you know what I mean? And the Wolfman got me his 7th Oscar. You know, so again, you know, behind that makeup, man. It was such a privilege to be there. So I did all the movements, and I started doing the wide stuff, and then the close-up stuff, and the Wolfman was there. And I remember that at the end of the test makeup, when they got the green light, you know, when the director says, "Yes, that's good, that's ready, it's picture ready," you know what I mean, camera ready, whatever. So he brought, after 11 hours in the makeup chair, right? He brought all the creature crew in. There was 40 there at Pinewood Studios, and they brought a big bottle of champagne in. And there's the Wolfman. Whee! Everybody clapping their hands. You know what I mean? And Rick Baker goes, "Spen, go into wolf mode." So I just crept down. I just went into the Wolfman, man. You know what I mean? And he goes, "What are you feeling?" Because obviously, going into the predator of the Wolfman, he was picking up on fear. And there was one person in that room. It was a little Spanish lady, and she's about 4 or 5 lines deep. It's only a small room, so there's 40 people, and everybody's quite cramped. And he goes, "What are you feeling?" I said, the girl at the back there, she's scared. And I just wanted to eat her. You know,
right.
I wanted to rip her face off. And he goes, "Go for her." So I chased around the studios, and it messed her up for about 3 days. And it took her 3 days to come back, and I had to say sorry and blah, blah, blah. And they said, "Listen, if you can do that without a camera in front of you, then this is going to work out great." Because they didn't use too much CGI with the Wolfman. They made his mouth a little bit bigger now and again. But we pulled it off, and Dave Garrick, who was a good friend, big stunt man. He showed me how to do a bit of the stunt work, and I showed him how to do the movements of the Wolfman. And he was the werewolf, I was the Wolfman. And then obviously Sir Anthony Hopkins and Benicio Del Toro doing their thing as well. And it was just awesome, man. Do you know what I mean? To be on set, chewing on Emily Blunt's neck, you know what I mean, and just fighting away. And it was just with Sir Anthony Hopkins, you know, as a fellow Welshman, but you know what living legends these are.
Yeah.
What an amazing moment in time that I can remember. You know, it was 12 years ago, man. It was just you know, I smile at night when you know it's all good.
It's honestly one of the my favorite looking werewolf in the movies. And it's awesome.
He's great, isn't he? Yeah, I really love it. Yeah. It'd be great if they brought us back again and let me loose. Let me, you know what I mean? I never look at a full moon the same way again. Do you know what I mean? After playing the Wolfman and the werewolf and Harry Potter, you do look at a full moon in a different way. You know.
So was it 11 hours to put on the makeup every time, or just the first time?
No.
Okay.
That was the test makeup.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was the test makeup. We got it down to about 4 hours, 3.5 hours with wardrobe, 5 hours. Sometimes I'll be makeup chair 1:30 a.m. I'll be on set for 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, in the morning. Yeah. So and that went on. I did over 100 makeups on that job. You know, So
what advice would you give to an aspiring someone who's getting a lot of makeup? Like, what do you do for those hours? Do you kind of do you listen to music? Do you zone out?
You know, they really look after you, the creature guy. You know, but the makeup guys, but they're in an hour before you as well. You know, but they'll sit you down. They'll give you a cup of tea, whatever you want. Put a little laptop on there, watch a film. But I've been in that many makeups. My body just goes into like a subconscious, and I just switch off. I'll sit there. Sometimes I'll go to sleep, and if they want an expression out here, they'll poke you in the face to wake you up. You know. But all I can say is just relax and enjoy the moment. You know, you're on a film set, you're playing a character. There's a million people out there who would love to be in your shoes. So just enjoy it, you know. Yeah. And if, you know, sometimes if you don't like latex and stuff like that, and you feel like your skin's giving it, just take an antihistamine, drink plenty of water, and that'll chill things out for you, you know. And just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yeah. It's not going to be forever. And just let the character come through and just enjoy it.
But the film will last forever.
Yeah, of course, man.
Right.
Forever.
Yeah. So when you first did makeup, like, was it something you had to get used to, or were you kind of were good with it right away?
Yeah, I was all right with it. It was good. On the Wolfman, we're doing 6 days a week, so sometimes your skin will kick off a little bit. I'm not allergic to latex, but if you're in makeup, 6 days a week, for 20 hours a day,
Right.
your skin's got to breathe. But that was back then. It probably wouldn't happen so much now, But it's the only way they could get the shots done. I was doing my job, and if you kept on bringing in loads of different performers and to do it, it's going to cost them too much and take too much time. So we just get in there, do it, and smash it, and get it out there. You just roll with it. Each makeup, it's like any job. The more you do it, the better you get at it, and you find different ways that helps you more. The creature guys will find different ways to make the process, because time is money in the industry. So if their first makeup cost did 4 or 5 hours, then they'll bring that down. They'll halve that going through the production. You know what I mean? Without putting too much pressure on themselves.
How about using the stilts? Is that something you had done before?
Well, I first ever went on stilts was obviously with the Werewolf from the Prison of Azkaban, and myself and Marnix Vanderbroek, who was a ballet dancer from Holland. He's a friend now, but we went through, because these are test stilts. No actors had been on these stilts before, so it was all trying it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, let's go somewhere else with it. And me and Marnix had blisters from hell for a good month. So because he's still sort of because I'm on my phone, I can't really show you what I'm doing. But you'd walk through the knee, and the shape would be like that, like a dog's leg, And then you've got in the suit. And then you've got an animatronic head. So if you look at the werewolf, I know it's 99.9% CGI, but the stills there, and you can see a little bit of a nose shape in there, like it's where its Adam's apples is. And then it's an animatronic head with a couple of puppeteers behind off camera just working it, But there's only so much you could have done in that suit then. Now, with everything moving forward, I'm sure the suit would be a lot easier to work,
Yeah.
But stilts, and they just got better each way through. In the end, on the Wolfman, they started with stilts, but then they put like a hard rubber mold, and then like a big thick rubber on your heel, and I could run around, somersault, jump off this, jump off that on them. You know what I mean? They really worked for me. But and then the likes on Kilowog on the Green Lantern. I played Kilowog on the Green Lantern. We filmed that over in New Orleans for 4 months. That was a motion cam suit with markers on it, and I was on stilts that took me to nearly 9 feet high. They were plasterers stilts, but again, good stilts. I can run around on them. You know what I mean? I'm confident on them, and I will test the stilt. You know what I mean?
Well, what's your background before you were in the movies? Were you athletic? Were you in sports or anything?
Well, I was a professional kickboxer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the world's British kickboxing champion. But I beat 2 really good world champions, and then I went into professional boxing. I fought in Bethnal Green, York Hall, the heart of boxing in the UK, and undefeated there. Because I come from a Sicilian family, we got called Gitzi, and the Wilding side as well. They're both. My dad's dad was a boxer. My uncles, my granddad were boxers. And my uncle Carl Gizzi went the distance with Joe Bugner, fought Jack Bundell, sparred with Muhammad Ali 40 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So we've got that in our genes. We've got professional football players. My cousin Jason Fisk, he was capped for Wales many a time, played for Arsenal, this, that, and the other. So we've got a lot of sporty people in our family. Then my brother's was a big musician. He was with The Fall, FALL, The Fall for many years, And my dad was a supporting band for the Beatles. My sister was a big makeup artist. But my sister was a makeup artist, So we're all doing our things,
Yeah. So how did you transition from combat sports into movies?
So what I found out where the director lived, grabbed hold of him, put him in the back of the boot, told him who I was, and put me in the film. No, you know what? Everything that's happened in my life is a big picture with the little pieces, and now it's complete. So I started on every job out there. I was in the building sites, I worked on the doors and security, obviously the boxing and the kickboxing, and that helped me intensely, because I got signed up with a sports agency in the beginning of my career that put top athletes in the movies, TV, adverts, and stuff like that. They looked for the best, you know. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was one of the best at what I did. So they brought you in, and then I got more of an acting agent down the line, Morella Cherry Actors Agency. And they got me more roles, speaking, this, that, and the other, you know, more depth into the acting. And that's how I got in. So how I got in, because I couldn't read or write till I was 32 years old. I'm very dyslexic, you know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm very open about it because there's a lot of kids out there with dyslexia and they hide. Don't hide. It's a gift. You're going to be really good at something. So you find what you're good at and you go for it, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Because back when I was in school, they didn't understand about dyslexia. You were just like, so I had to get my attention by being a clown or something like that, you know. And then I didn't like bullies. I'd go and fight the bullies, you know. I was one of them. I was a protector, you know. Mm-hmm. And this has all been part of my picture, you know, my life. My acting school has been my life, you know. Mm-hmm. So I didn't go to acting school or anything like that. But then, because I was going for audition in the beginning, I couldn't read or write. I was failing at all my auditions. I wasn't getting them. And then the phone went very quiet for over a year, you know. And it probably got around in the industry, you know, the casting agents, you're sending us an actor who can't read, what you're doing, you know. So it went very quiet. Because I was the kid in town that did good, you know. Right. And so everybody followed me for the kickboxing. So everybody was in the film world with me when I got it. You know, everybody was very excited. And then I got a phone call like a year later after my phone went very quiet with the agent at the time. And they said, "Are you still doing the films, Ben?" I said, "Oh, you know what? Can't read or write. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to carry on with the fighting." I said, No. There's a radio station called Radio 1 in the UK, right? And they were Warner Brothers were looking for a 6'7" actor to play the werewolf, but it's not an open audition. So it felt like there's something going on in my spirit world, whatever. Yeah. They're gonna get me in this way. So I make a phone call to my agent. I said, "Am I still signing you guys?" "Oh, yeah. We've just been very busy, blah, blah, blah." And I get it. And I said, "Well, Warner Brothers, Harry Potter, looking for a very tall actor to play the werewolf. You know, can you get me the audition?" And we'll get back to you. 2 minutes later, we got the audition. So as soon as I got to Leavesden Studios, which is the Harry Potter world now, half of it's still active as a film studios as well. When I got to the studios, there was a room of 30 actors. And I was like, oh, that's him. You know, I was just a kid that was buzzing, you know. I'd never come from any acting background. I was a fighter, you know. Yeah. So I'm on the Harry Potter film, auditioning for the werewolf. You know, it's like, put yourself in my mind, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I still couldn't read too good then. And now I'm fine. I hold my own with the big boys. But then I was just a kid in the head. So I do the audition, and then he called me back a week later, and then it's like half the people are going. I'm thinking, where's everybody going? And then he called me back for another audition, a third. Back, where's everybody going? You know. Then they tell me in Marnix we've got the job, and that's how my film gods got me into the industry. You know, and then I went from Harry Potter to Batman Begins to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to Battlefield Grounds to Dead Man's Cards, Aragon, Stardust, Golden Compass, Ghost Rider. And just went woof and just went off. Yeah, strapped myself in and just rolled with it. Yeah. And just enjoyed every single beat and minute because I'm at home when I'm in the films. I've still got my home at home, but I'm really work wise. Yeah. I'm really.
It honestly comes through that you're very passionate about it, which I like to see. Someone who really likes what they're doing and. I'm sure that comes through in the roles you play. So if you don't mind talking about it, what was how hard was it to learn to read and write, you know, in your adult life?
It was very, 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 very hard. You know, I remember having eyes because I went into you know, the film Snatch.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Well, Tommy, the short, heavy guy with a lot of weight, the Scouser. Tommy, I auditioned for that role. So when I went into the audition, this big guy coming in, the producer came up to me, one of them, and said, "Listen, you've got this part, just deliver your dialogue." I'm thinking, what's dialogue? Because I've gone from school, high school, college, just rolling with it. Do you know what I mean? Because I couldn't read, I was not taking anything in, but because of my energy and that, people just let me get on with it, you know? Mm-hmm. So I went in there and I was trying to read the lines, but I was reading it like a 5-year-old and ring Thomas the Tank Engine, mate. I'd be like, I'm going to smash your face, you know? And then all of a sudden, they were laughing at first, and then the penny dropped. oh my God, he can't read, you know? And by then the pressure had come up, the ears were going hot. And they said, just put the script down, Ben, just self-prof. And I'm thinking, what self-prof mean? I was just scared, man. I was just scared. I was just scared. In a young boy in a man's body, I was just scared. I knew it was my road. I knew it was my passion. I knew it was my future. But I'm thinking, how can I do this? I can't even read, man. I'm supposed to be an actor and doing this. So I just, honestly, I got emotional. And I come out of the room and one of the producers said, listen, you've got to face what we want. You've got a presence. Do yourself a favor. Go and get yourself some sight reading lessons. We'll see you again in the future. I don't even know who that producer was, but I held, you know, he was the key to me, you know, and he gave me that confidence to go and have some sight reading lessons. And it was a slow process, but we got there, you know. And I went and done some courses with dyslexia, and the cerebellum didn't develop properly through childhood. It's a back muscle here. So there's different things, juggling beanbags, balancing on balls, little things like that when you're reading. And it triggers it, sets it going again. You know, there's a lot of dyslexic people out there. There's a lot in the industry, you know, the film industry. And we all have our ways to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? But now, if you don't put so much pressure on yourself, any kids listening out there, if you don't put or adults, don't put so much pressure on yourself where you drag yourself through mud trying to get it in. Just accept it. Open it up, have a drink of water, and just relax, man. And just read, let it through, and put pictures to the words. Read just before bed. It goes in. We're like computers, and put it in your Walkman and go for a walk or hit the bag when you do the dialogue, and it just helps you so much. It's amazing. So now I'm like locking it in. It's great.
Yeah. I also do a pro wrestling podcast, and my co-host on that show is dyslexic. And when he went to school, he's been open about it, so he won't mind me saying, they put him in like special classes thinking he just wasn't, you know, smart and stuff, because they did know a lot about dyslexia at the time. So like I was saying.
They put me in, they put me in the remies, the remedials class, you know what I mean? And Mrs. Horrobin, my teacher, was like a second mother. She was amazing. She really got the kids in there, you know? It's just such a shame, because there's a lot of kids that have been lost and gone into a dark world or gone off and naughty things. But if you could have got hold of them in the beginning and go, oh, it's dyslexic, right? We know about dyslexia. Look what we're going to do with you. Let's see what skills you have. Let's work on them. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of kids could have got saved back then. But now it's the best time to have dyslexia because you understand about it. You know, there's a lot of research gone into this, you know. Look, Darth Vader's dyslexic, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, any kids, Darth Vader's dyslexic. It's cool.
Yeah, he's a good role model, Darth Vader. So yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So coming back from the combat sports and doing stunts, any problems with injuries?
You know what? Not too bad. You know, not too bad. I'm not a trained stuntman. I'm an actor who'll do my own stunts, but the stunt world are like my family. You know, I've known them from the start. Get up. I was like jumping off 100-foot buildings with the extender wires on me. I'd never done it before in my life, but they know. I say to the stunt world, they know what I'm capable. I'm a big guy that can move well. You know, they don't see too many guys my height that can move the way I do. You know, I'm old now, I'm 50. Not like I used to, but I can still have it. But I used to say they know what I'm capable of. But they looked after me. They didn't kill me, but they let me go and let me do things, you know, what stunt guys would do. Do you know what I mean? And if I was a lot younger when I went into the film industry, I probably would have went more into the stunt world, you know what I mean? And really studied the 6 arts, you know, because to be a professional stuntman, you got to be pretty special, man. There's a lot of training, a lot of hours, a lot of money goes into their training. And they're the elite of the industry, you know. They're the best actors, the best stunt guys, the best this, the best that. They're pretty elite, very, very special people. And it's I feel honored to be called a stuntman a few times in my career, you know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. So go back to Wolfman quick. Anthony Hopkins. Who plays the Wolfman of Anthony Hopkins' character?
Dave Garrick, stunt guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, I know stunt guys at the time had stunt guys as well to play us. You know what I mean? There's like Rick English and then one of the other guys were doing the Wolfman as well in the fight scene. But, you know, obviously they didn't have the stilts on and couldn't go too close because they had the masks on. Me and Dave had the full makeups. But it was just, it couldn't be done without the whole team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You needed the actors there. You needed the stunt guys in there. They needed everybody to make it complete. You know what I mean? Because it was so intense, that film, what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't want to say your favorite monster, but what are the characters you played that are like the most important to you?
You know what? Like I say, I'm a bit spiritual. Every character that I play is a gift from above.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, it comes from a different power. How I got in was like, wow, amazing. You know, I do love playing a monster. I do love it. But again, I don't know if you know the film called Green Street.
I'm not sure if I know this one.
You have a little watch of Green Street 3. There's three of them, Green Street 1, 2, and 3. I'm the head of Millwall. He's not very nice. You smash it. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I'm going to smash your fucking face in. You know what I mean? He's one of them guys, you know? And he's the head of Millwall. So I have like 20 fights because I waited almost 20 years to throw me kicks and me punches about on screen. I thought they would have let me do it back in the day, you know, but my characters at the time didn't do that, you know. And so I love the martial arts side as well, the Green Street. But my mum used to say to me when I was a kid, there's something in this. She goes, stop hitting people, stop kicking people, and stop being a monster. Ended up being a professional kickboxer and playing monsters in the film. You know?
Right. So don't always listen to your mom. That's another thing to say.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Is there a competition amongst people who like yourself who play these monsters? Is there friendly competition or is there a real competition? Because I assume you're up for a lot of the same roles.
Yeah, you know, it's like anything. Whoever gets that job, it's his job. You know, it's got his name over it. You know, I've been to a few gigs. I've seen some of my friends, and then they get it. I'm the first on the phone to congratulate them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of them that they'll be bitter about somebody else getting that role that I wanted. I'm like, listen, it wasn't my time, man. It's your job. Go and smash it. I'll see that character again maybe one day, hopefully. You know what I mean? It's like there was a funny feeling on Victor Frankenstein. Like I say, I'm a bit connected to my stuff, and I knew one day I'm going to be playing Frankenstein in my head. I know I'm going to play that character one day. Yeah. So I get a phone call, right, of Neil Gorton's team. They're bringing me in to play. No, actually, I got the phone call first to come in to audition for a part on Frankenstein. So I thought, great, it's going to be the monster, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't. It's to play the strong man in the circus. Right.
So you got
I thought, oh, it must be, that's funny. I thought I was going to play the monster. Oh, it must be just because I'm in a Frankenstein then. Okay. So I go there for the fit-in, blah, 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 blah. Great. This is on the Friday. I go back home, and then they call me in. The first AD rings me up on the Sunday evening. He goes, hi, Spender, what it is? And I go, I stopped him straight away. You want me to play Frankenstein, don't you? And he goes, now, how the hell do you know that? I'm just coming out of production office. I said, I just had a feeling, you know, because the other guy that was playing Frankenstein, it was too much work. They needed 2 guys for that costume. It was just too much work for him. And I went, yeah, I'm ready. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very lucky and feel very blessed that Warner Brothers gave me 2 credits on the same film. That's quite unheard of, you know what I mean? Because they always have one guy for that role, you know? So I play the strongman in the circus. That's my real tash. You know what I mean? I grew a big beard. Yeah. I grew that beard. Uh-huh. And then they shaped it. And then I play, obviously, Prometheus the monster at the end, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
the French side.
Yeah.
Loved it. Great. Yeah.
Well, what was that? What was that set like, too? Because it's a really cool set at the end of the movie there.
It's very cool. It's a real set. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was a wet set. Obviously, because it's raining and stuff like that. When I was saying, just any performers out there, if you're in a suit, right, and you get wet and you start getting cold and you stay still and feel fine, and don't worry about that. No, don't stay still. You move about. You keep that rainwater warm in your body. Yeah, otherwise you'll seal yourself up, and it's going to be a long day for you because they're not going to cast another guy to get through that day. You gotta bring do your job. Right. So if your suit's getting wet, just keep on moving, man. Keep on moving. You'll be out here at the end of the day. Just keep on moving and keep that character real. You know. Mm-hmm. So obviously the other performer who wasn't used to them suits, he was feeling it. So I give him a little few tips. Keep on moving about in it, man. Keep yourself warm. And then as soon as he did that, he was sound. Do you know what I mean?
So you worked with Daniel Radcliffe twice, then. Like, did you work with him much on the Harry Potter movies?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, you know. At Harry Potter, Daniel, Marnie, and Ron, right? They were
Yeah.
14 years old. Myself and Alan Rickman sang Happy Birthday to Daniel on his 14th
That's pretty
birthday.
wild. Yeah.
Isn't that wild? You know what I mean? And Daniel, he's in my heart. I love Daniel. He's a beautiful man. He's a brilliant man, brilliant performer. He's just a brilliant human being. You know what I mean? And he's kept himself grounded. He's just cool. You know what I mean? And I remember years later, I seen Dan 10 years later, whatever, on Frankenstein. I don't know if you remember me, Dan. He goes, "Shut up, Spen. Go remember you." I went, "Oh yeah, Dan remembers me." You know what I mean?
And I always what I always like about him too, he does a lot of really weird movies because he could be like an A-list actor, which he is, but he also does a lot of small, weird, strange movies that I think I respect that because he takes chances on weird roles.
Yeah, well, he's a brilliant performer. He just does his thing, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Cameras in front of you, you're still doing your job, man. And it's one of them. An actor always keeps on wanting to test himself, see where he can go, see what he can bring in. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's what I do anyway. Some of these roles is, but he's obviously done. He's huge. He's a huge performer, and a huge actor and A-lister and everything. And whatever he does, he turns into gold, doesn't he? So he smashes it.
Yeah, I'm always interested when he's in something. So years ago, I interviewed Ben Chapman. I have the picture up here, who played Creature from the Black Lagoon in the 1954 original film. And he talked about he couldn't gain or lose like even a pound because the suit was molded to him. Is that still kind of the same way? So if you're playing something where, it's shot over a long period of time, you have to make sure like you keep the same body type.
It's funny, if you're working on a film and you're on that show for 6 months. Yeah. So, and it's got craft services, and it's got a big budget, lots of food. But I'm not saying any names or anything like that, but you see people coming on the set for the first time and you see them changing shapes with all the craft services and stuff. Right. They're putting a few pounds on, you know what I mean? But when you're in a costume, you're in a sweatsuit, right?
Right.
And you lose weight, you don't put it on. You know what I mean? You lose weight. Sometimes you've got to try and put it in more fluids, more eating, or your suit goes saggy, Yeah. But not many creature performers put weight on in the suits. They remain that way, Yeah.
You said you're bulkier now than you were when you did like the Wolfman. Are you good at so if you have to play a more slender character, can you take your body down? If you got to bulk up, is it easy for you to go up and down?
Well, I'm just like I say, I'm 50 now, so my body's just finding its natural weight as you go through. But if I get a role and they turn around to me and say, "Spen, in 3 months' time, we want you to lose 3 stone," I'll lose 3 stone. But that's never happened. So they're just giving me characters to fix me what works for me and looks good on camera. I'm a big guy now, so I'm going to play a big character. They can't go smaller, but they can go bigger. You know what I mean? Unless they computerize you. But I'm 50 now. I don't think I'll be losing 3 stone.
Well, I have a lot of people play monsters on the show, and a lot of them are very slender people because they play the slender characters, but you're a bulkier guy. So, I guess it'd be, depending on what kind of character they want. Like I've had Javier Botet on the show, who's a very, very slender guy who played like Mama and stuff. And so they would probably want him for that role and you for the beast from the ground.
Yeah. Because I'm very tall though as well. And if they stick, again, I'm big, but I don't look so big when I'm taller.
Right.
And I can move like a middle. I can move like somebody half my weight.
Yeah, that's probably a very important thing.
Yeah, so you'll see me in the costumes. I still look pretty slim.
Yeah. Now, how about playing an orc?
Yeah. So I get that call, right? And it's Lord of the Rings, Shadow of War, Friend or Foe, the video game, but they're using live makeup, real makeups on live actors for the game. And obviously CGI in the background, flying dragons and stuff like that. So when I played Loruk, right, he is the baddest. He's mean, man. He's cutting heads off, licking the blood. He's got fingers round his neck. He's just a badass orc, and he was a lot of fun to play. But we filmed in Ukraine, right? We filmed in Ukraine on the Black Sea. That was 10 foot thick of ice, right? It was minus 26.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Or there was loads of extras with bear skins on. There was 4 main actors. I was one of the 4. The other 3 actors had bear skins on, this, that, and the other. I had painted blue skin, right, with a few rested metal bits on my shoulders, and I was running along the beach in my shorts at 6 a.m. trying to condition myself. I was going to sleep with a window open, and it's very hard to condition yourself for that sort of temperature. I had 10 girls with hairdryers trying to keep me warm. It was just, but if the character wasn't so tough, I don't think I would have got for the job. But the Naruk is such a badass. He just was like, I know, he was just badass, man.
Yeah.
He's like, face me, talk. You know what I mean? He's just, he's gnarly.
You have a really cool voice, too, for these roles. Yeah.
Oh, any character, whatever voice he has, he'll come through me. Everything will change in my body. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Guardians of the Galaxy. When I mentioned you were on, my brother's a huge comic book fan, so he was really excited. He's like, he's the guy who steals the headphones. So, how fun was Guardians of the Galaxy?
It was great, but it wasn't the original character I was supposed to be playing.
Oh, really?
Do you remember the film, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when the character goes, take it down to the showers? It'd be easy to clean up the blood down there.
Right.
That's what they were going to cast me for, but they went, no, he's going to have the mean guard instead. I'm like, he's not talking. He's just a lot about it. So I'm cool with it. But everybody all over this planet go, you're the mean guard. He was in it for 30 seconds, but it's his presence, man. He's a real alien. And that presence came through me, so it came across from the screen. And Mr. James Gunn, after the scene, if you watch the Blu-ray special features, you see the mean guard dancing through the prison and shouting at the prisoners, And I was in the trailer. Sometimes they don't get to you if things are slowing down on set. They may not get to you, but you're still there. You're being paid. You're in your full makeup. You're in your trailer. Just sit, be patient. This again for the people who are sitting in the trailer all day. They don't get to you. Don't worry about it. It's all good. They will do when they're ready and when they can. Sometimes things get put back. So I've been in the trailer all day in full makeup, and they had half an hour before going to overtime. Now a production that size, when you go to overtime, you're talking a lot of money. It chips away at the budget. You know what I mean? And James Gunn come up to me trailer. He goes, Spen, do you think you can do us a favour? Sorry, you've been in the training when I got to you. I said, no, that's cool, man. Yeah, what do you want? I said, what we want you to do, right? We want you to go through the prison, start dancing when you hear the music, and be really, really mean to one of the prisoners. I said, yeah, we'll do that. So the first take, and James Gunn's so cool, man. He has raccoons running around his neck. All his best mates are little creatures, and he's such a cool dude, man. Him and his brother. I've met his brother on the Comic Con, Sean, on the circuit. Great guy. So they go to me. Do you want the music playing on the outside so everybody can hear it? Because it's a massive stage, loads of extras, loads of performers in there. Or do you just want it through the ears, the headphones? I said, can you do it for the headphones and outside? Yeah, we can do that. I said, right, sound brilliant. So we'll do that. So I went through, I was dancing through the prison, the steady camera's right in my face, following me through, dancing. And then I tried to electrocute one of the prisoners, pissing me off, do you know what I mean? Looking me in the wrong way. Don't do that. I'm the head guard. Don't do that. Don't even make eye contact with me. You know what I mean? He's one of them guys, And then they cut. And it's dead quiet for a second. And then everybody started laughing. They went, that's a good sound. Everybody laughed when I dance anyway, so it's one of them. And James Gunn come up to me and goes, Ben, that was hilarious. And he goes, but it's a little bit too good. He goes, do you think you can dance like an alien? I went, hey, you've employed an alien, you'll get an alien. So I took all the beats back, messed about, and that's what we went with. But it's a great, great scene, and it's the special features, deleted scenes. But it's very cool.
Yeah.
And that was my role as the mean guard. And I thoroughly enjoyed that film.
Yeah, it's very fun. And I'm a big fan of James Gunn. I like his movies. And I also like that he came from low-budget trauma movies and become, huge. And he still remembers that because he always puts Lloyd Kaufman, in cameos in his movies. I like that he doesn't forget his roots,
So, and are we going into this future film that we might be playing?
Yeah, what are you working on? You might be working.
I can't tell you about the film, but I can tell you about Toxic Avengers.
Oh, very cool. I'm friends with Lloyd Kaufman. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't tell you any more than that, but I am on the show, and I can't wait. And It's going to be so, anybody, I've watched some of the shows, the trauma shows, and they're just crazy. They're brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all I can say is you won't be disappointed.
Oh, very cool. I've had Lloyd on many times, and Mark Torgel, who plays the original nerd who becomes the Toxic Avenger. So I've been very excited about this, the new one.
Yeah, it's great. Kevin Bacon's in it. He's an awesome, living legend. Yeah. And he sang "Happy Birthday" to the missus.
Oh, that's very awesome.
She's been in love with him since she's a kid.
Yeah.
I said, Joe, I've got somebody to talk to you. Bang.
I
he
love
sang
it.
Jolene. Mrs. name called Jolene. He sang Jolene to her. Jolene. No, a lot better than that.
Oh, that's very sweet. I like this. But yeah.
Yeah,
he's a sweetheart. And if you ever play 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, you're easy. You don't have to, you're right there. The first degree.
Cool.
Yeah. What else? You have anything else that you're working on currently?
So just obviously The Devil's out now, and if there's anybody out there who hasn't seen The Devil, you've got to go watch it. Especially it's one of them films you watch at the cinema.
Yeah, I try to watch everything in them. I think it's better, but that kind of movie, because the sets are so cool and you got the monsters, everything going on. It's definitely,
and it wasn't a huge budget. They did so well.
Yeah, they've done a lot with
so well, man.
Budget.
You know what I mean? Nathan did a brilliant job. And Nathan's great, isn't he?
Yeah,
really,
he's awesome.
I'm a fan of Nathan. I love him, and I met his family, and that he's such a cool guy.
Oh, nice.
And the Czech guys, they're a great film production. They're really cool guys. So what I've got next, so I've done that. We've got, can't tell you obviously too much about the film, but we've got Dungeons and Dragons coming out.
Cool. I'm a big I grew up as a D&D player, so this is fun.
Again, it's going to be very exciting. Yeah, the fans are going to love it. They're going to be sitting on the edge of the seat, drinking their Coca-Cola and eating their popcorn. So they're going to love that. And then we've got obviously Toxic Avengers. Then we've got Judgment of Paris. That's a cool show. It's going to be great. And then they've done another good for the ITV, a little TV show. But it's going to be a big film for releases for Spencer Wilder this year. Because last year was it's quiet last year. But every job out there, people struggled. Do you know what I mean? So, but now we're clicking back in here now, and things are opening back up, and everything's good, and the phone's going, which is great. Yeah,
definitely. Well, it would be fun to have you back on when Toxic Avenger and D&D comes out.
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. You know what I mean?
I had a great time.
And I hope everybody understands my accent.
Oh, yeah,
in America.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do speak a little bit quick, but I get excited.
That comes through, which is it makes me happy. And where can people follow you to see what you're up to?
Right, okay. So I'm on Twitter. I've got my little blue tick. There are some fake sites out there, so go for the one with the blue tick. That's at Big Spen Wilding. Right. On Instagram, I'm at Spencer Wilding. On Facebook, I'm official Spencer Wilding. So that's, if you want to follow me, please come along and join yourselves. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming out this year. I won't let you down. It's some good stuff there. And I'm pleased because time is precious. So thank you very much for giving up some of your time to come and watch some of my stuff.
Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And I hope your mom's okay.
Not a problem. Yeah, Mum's going to be good. So we're at the hospital here today. So I'm a little bit of work done on myself. So she's going to be good. So say your prayers out there. Keep my mum safe. Operation goes good and that. I won't go into detail with it. But she's a sweetheart, my mum. People, good parents, good kids. So thank you very much for bringing me on.
Thank you. I really had a good time.
And if there's any kids out there, be careful crossing the road. Look both ways and eat your sprouts and follow your dreams.
I eat Brussels sprouts every day. So yeah.
Yeah, with good gravy. Love the gravy. Got to be about the gravy. You know what I mean?
Great. All right, thank you, Spencer. It's been great.
All right, mate. Brilliant. Take care.
Take care. You as well. Bye.
Nice one.
Graveyard behind the tomb, she's lurking under the moon. one to tell you mister, but it's about your sister. Your sister is a werewolf and she houses the moon. Your sister is a werewolf, she'll be coming soon. Your sister is a werewolf and she houses the moon. Your sister is a werewolf, she'll be coming soon. The moon is up, somewhere in full. I said don't go, you probably will. To the graveyard behind the tomb.